What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to my man,
Miguel Ramirez. What's happening, babe?
What's up? I decided to look like a lioness today and decided to wear my hair down, and I feel like a big old puffball.
Yeah, it's early Saturday morning.
It's not that early.
It's not that early.
I mean, it's early because we slept in. I mean, we've been kicking some major butt. Even working from home, we've been super, super busy. So we decided just to sleep in a little bit. And so if I have some morning crap in my eye, excuse-moi.
What is that Biggie song? Wipe the crust out my eye?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know.
You don't know. Let's leave that one to me.
Yes.
So anyway, let's get into it.
Well, let's do it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Opposites Attract podcast. We're going to get into the stuff that we don't really want to talk about, but we're going to put it out there so that everybody knows what's the newest stuff that's happening with the coronavirus and just kind of the new facts that are going on.
Yes.
So to get started in the United States, like we talked about last week on our last podcast, we were at 15,219 cases last week.
15,000.
15,000. This week, we're at 85,365.
That's the number is more than doubled.
Babe, it went from 15,000 to 85.
That's crazy.
That's a lot. And we're not going to do math.
No.
We're here now, live.
Do your own math.
Yeah, you guys do your own math because we're not going to look
Everybody took out their calculators.
They're going to be like, wow.
That's a lot.
They're like, wow, if they're doing okay, we could do okay too. Their math is horrible. But so we're at 85,000 cases now in the U.S. Last week, we were at 201 deaths, and we're at 1,246 deaths now. So the death rate is rising a little bit. It's at 1.4% at the moment from, these facts that we have right now. Yeah. And then from the World Health Organization, last week, we were at 266,073 cases in the world, and we're currently at 509,164. So over 500,000 people. Now, the deaths last week in the world were 11,184, and this week we're at 23,335. And overall, the death rate in the world, I think it's gone up a little bit, but it's at 4.6%.
Yeah. I don't know. It's yesterday I went to the grocery store, and usually I sent Miguel goes, like one of us will go, but you've been going lately. And
well, we've been trying to stay inside lately.
Right. So we only go when we need to go, and we were running low on a lot of things. And so I called Miguel up and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go to the grocery store since, you're still working. And so when I went, that's when like reality really hits too, because I'm walking around the store and you see people with gloves on, you see people with masks on. Then you look up and you see some empty aisles.
Oh, yeah.
And me, like I'm usually talking and, you could feel energy. Yeah. Like and it was so gloomy. Like it was so sad for me. Like I came back and I was very emotional because it feels so different. Like it's just different. It's scary. It's confusing because you don't know what to think. And it's almost like you don't even know what to do or how to react around people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then everybody is looking in each other's carts like
to see what they're getting.
Yeah. And it's just
see if you got anything good in there.
It's just, it's sad. Like for me, it was just sad. As an extrovert, I want to talk to everybody. I want to.
For me, it was great.
Just like
I'm just walking through the store, minding my own business. Nobody's looking at me.
Shut up! It's not great. No, you don't go to the grocery store feeling great. Like nobody walks into the grocery store today feeling great because that's when your reality hits you and you're just like, like is this it? Like this is it? You and I were sitting in the back yesterday. Did you want to get into something? Because this is all on the same,
Yeah, no, I get it. Go for it.
And Miguel and I, so it's been hard for us, and just like it's been hard for everyone that's watching as well. And, we put the kids to bed and we decided to get our best friend out these days, which is Dos Equis. No.
Yeah.
So we had quite a few, and it was just him and I in the back.
This is a disaster.
And we were listening. This is so funny because tell me, when you get older, shit changes. Like everything changes. Dude, you're listening to country now.
Oh, yeah. A little bit.
Dude, you like it.
I do like it.
You like it. And before he would talk crap.
I would talk all kinds of shit.
We're in the back and there's this song called Crazy Beautiful. And that song, I told Miguel, listen to the song because it's straight up me.
It's like you, yeah.
And Miguel and I, we look at each other and I start like crying, like I'm going to cry right now. You're stupid, babe. Where's the tissue? No. But it's like I look up at him and they were like happy tears, like grateful tears, because I wouldn't want to be going through this situation with anyone but you. Oh. You're such a jerk off.
No, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, you know what? This is a fucking shit show. And there's nobody else that I'd want to go through this right now.
Thanks, babe. And I felt you. Like I felt our energy connecting. And for me, that was very spiritual.
And that reminds me of something that I talked to my brother about earlier in the week. He was telling me he's in New York, which is right now the worst place in the country for the coronavirus. And he was telling me my brother's my brother's an actor. And he was telling me that he has a lot of friends that moved to New York to become actors. Now, we're originally from New York, so we have family there. We have cousins. We have all kinds of people there that we know. But he was telling me about his friends that maybe moved from Ohio or wherever to pursue their dreams of being an actor. And now they're stuck inside an apartment with people that aren't really their family.
Yeah.
I mean, they went out there to work.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't imagine. It would be so like we've been in the house for 2 weeks for the most part. Like we've gone out to the grocery store but we've been in the house for the most part. And it's not that bad because we're together. But I can't imagine just being somewhere by myself.
Yeah, like not with your family.
And I can't really interact with people, So one thing that we wanted to talk about also was there's been, I from what I understand, you guys can look this up, the U.S. has overtaken Italy with the amount of cases that we have now. And so it's growing in the U.S. I think it's overtaken Italy and maybe China. I think we have the most cases in the world now as far as the coronavirus.
This is going to be the most saddest episode.
No, it's not. But maybe.
Oh my God.
But so here's a good thing. So in California,
I was just having a moment with you and you cut off my moment.
Yes,
and brought up your brother.
Because you interjected your moment when I wasn't done.
But that was our moment, you jerk.
And all that shit. So how about you let me finish what I'm doing and then we can go into the rest of it.
What? This is called Opposites Attract, not Miguel's podcast.
And that's exactly why I couldn't get through it because of the opposite on this podcast.
I'm going to shut you off. Let me have that. I'm going to
anyway, so let's finish up what I need to talk about. No, but this is a good thing. So in California is also having, they're having a lot of trouble with the coronavirus. It's growing fast there. And I think California is on a lockdown pretty much.
That's a good thing? You just said this is a good thing.
No. What I'm about to say. They're on a lockdown. People can't really go to work or anything unless you're an essential employee or part of society. Thank you for all the essential people out there that are still working, doing what they have to do. But because of that's happening, the governor, I don't know if it was the governor, but look it up. The banks, the major mortgage banks, companies, there's 5 of the major banks. 4 out of the 5 have said that they will postpone mortgages for 90 days while this coronavirus thing is happening. And they are not going to report to the credit bureaus. They're not going to do any of that.
Wow.
So that was Citigroup, JP Morgan Chase, U.S. Bank, and Wells Fargo. Now,
Nice.
Bank of America said that they're the fifth well, not the fifth, but they're one of the top 5.
Yeah.
They've said that they will postpone for 30 days, which they kind of got lit up by the governor of California because, the other banks are trying to do more. But they said they'll do 30 days. But what they did say was that they're just doing 30 days for now. They're not opposed to continuing it for more than 90 days if they need to.
Gotcha.
But they're going to start with 30 days. They'll reevaluate and they'll keep, coming back to it.
Okay.
So that's good news. And if you're not in California, I mean, that may be coming to the rest of us also. So just keep an eye out for that. Google it. Check out the news. Because, man, not only with the coronavirus, but everybody knows that the economy, finances, like shit's going crazy right now.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned a week ago, I haven't even looked at my investment since, we looked at it last.
I kept telling him, babe, check it.
Last I
He was
checked,
like avoiding it.
Last I checked, it was down, 30-something%, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, and then right now, you can go ahead and give him a call.
It's 10:02.
Babe, go ahead and give him a call. So what, so I haven't been back to thank you, babe. I haven't been back to check out the investments, but there's so many people that are losing money. And then we're kind of thinking like the market took a dump, which most people see as an opportunity to buy in so that they can buy low and then ride it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people are like, well, if I need cash, then I'm gonna stash it now. I'm not gonna give it to the bank. I'm not gonna put it in investments because what if I lose it and I need cash then?
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we have somebody that works in finances, that they manage people's wealth, and we were gonna give them a call and have them on the podcast so that they can give us some advice.
So what's so crazy when we started doing this, like back in 2008, I lost a whole crap load. Like I invested money. I was scared to invest again because of what I lost in 2008. And so we had yet to look into any of it. And we started looking into it and found this gentleman. And so we are going to give him a call. Okay. Awesome. Are you good?
So we're calling Supal, and Supal is...
He is... Calm down, buddy. Okay? Okay. He is a private wealth advisor and franchise owner of the Pahal, Vora, and Associates. So we're going to have him on today to, shed some light.
What is the best... For somebody that does this for a living, what is the best thing that we could be doing right now with our investments, with what's happening? So,
yes.
Supal, are you there?
Can you hear us now?
Supal,
yes, I'm here, guys. Good morning, Sonja, Miguel. How are you?
Good morning. Welcome to the show, Supal.
Well, it's an honor to be here.
Thank you. So we wanted to give you a call to kind of talk to you about what's happening out there in the marketplace and the economy. And, I'm sure a lot of people have seen some losses in their investments. And just to see what you think, what your advice might be and your take on everything that's happening right now.
Yeah, going through a change as rapid as we've gone through in the last month, it can be incredibly jarring. About a month ago on February 19th, so about 5 weeks ago, we were humming in one of the strongest economic environments that this country has ever seen.
Yeah.
For 11 years running, we had the longest what we call a bull market in history, and that's the period in time where the economy continues to grow, stock market continues to grow, and we hadn't seen anything like that before, and not even in the 90s.
Yeah.
When we had the big tech boom. And then all of a sudden, with the coronavirus coming about, it led to a very scary time because just like with the snap of a finger, people's employment situations now are up in jeopardy. We may go from having one of the strongest economic environments we've ever seen in our country to the worst economic environment overnight. And subsequently, the stock market dropped 30%. So all of this money that we've been working hard and saving for our future suddenly is 30% lower. So during a time like this, when you have so much change happening so quickly and unprecedented change, we've never really had a global pandemic in modern times, since 1918. And our natural tendency is to always think that this time is different, and we are hardwired as human beings to think emotionally. So this is a prime time for us to have emotional and panicked decision making, and put ourselves in a situation where we could easily make a lot of errors. So a time like this, more than any, is really important to keep a calmer head, to think through our actions, and to really remind ourselves that with all the hard work that we've been doing and the goals that we've been saving for, what is the greater purpose of what we're saving for these goals for? Is it something like retirement, a goal that we may not get to for another few decades, or is it something that's more short term that is going to be happening within the next few years? In our investment strategy, rather than making it reactionary based on the coronavirus or the environment of today, we should really be looking at what is the risk tolerance that we need to achieve our goals in the most efficient manner. And what we have found is that for a lot of the younger investors that aren't going to be touching their money for a while, this has opened up really good long-term opportunities potentially for them to take a serious eye towards. And then for the more short-term investor, this is once again a reminder that we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket. It's really important to make sure that we have a diversified nest egg, that we're not taking risk with money that we need in the next few years, and that we're not putting on the back burner money that we're likely not going to be touching for a few decades out. We should be letting that continue to work for us.
So Sue Paul, what do you?
Number one lesson I would say.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
The number one lesson I would say is that more than anything, this is really a time for us to dig deep and ask ourselves, what are the things that we are working for? What are our goals? And then based on that, go back and look at the actions we've been taking towards those goals and see where our risk tolerance aligns. In many cases, the best action for long-term goals is really no action. It's to keep with the strategy that we've been implementing the whole time. And for those that are working towards more short-term goals, then it's really important to take a look at what you have been doing to see if it makes sense to rebalance or reevaluate that risk tolerance that you have for more short-term goals.
So now, for somebody that is thinking, like we were just talking about this, I don't know if you heard it while you were on the phone, but we were just saying that what if somebody has the thought that, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So I don't want to take the cash that I do have and tie it up in investments right now in a time like this.
Yeah, that's a really great question. What happens is that at times of uncertainty like this, our natural instinct is to go the other way and not buy because we're more nervous about things getting worse. The interesting thing is that I have found that the investment markets are the only place where the average investor runs away from a sale. Normally, when we have a Black Friday sale or something's 30% off or 20% off, and any other thing outside of stocks, we will flock to that sale. Doesn't matter if we have to hit people along the way to get into the store, we'll do it. The interesting thing that we found historically is that every time there's been a crisis in the past in the world, if we just went ahead and took advantage of buying opportunities that existed during that time, once that crisis dissipated, we'd be significantly better off for it. And we can just pick about any major crisis that's happened on the planet. So what I would recommend is rather than taking all of your money and putting it on a lump sum basis and buying stocks now, for example, it would be a really good idea to take a look at all of the really good quality companies that were good quality companies a month ago, are still good quality companies, but for some reason their stocks have gotten beaten up. These would be companies that we can really be focusing on. So what I would say to that investor or that individual that's nervous, that's lost some money in the market, they have extra savings, but they're nervous about putting it in, is that as long as you have the money that you need to cover your needs for the next 6 months to a year, if you have additional funds that you're saving for long-term goals like retirement, your financial independence, this is a great long-term opportunity to take a look at. There's a process called dollar cost averaging, which means systematic purchases over an extended period of time. So we may continue to have volatility for the rest of this year, perhaps. We don't know. So if you have money that you want to go ahead and invest with, just do systemized purchases every week or every month for the rest of the year. And even if markets continue to be more volatile and go down, you'll be able to take advantage of even better buying opportunities. And then over the long run, you'll be better off for it.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's just so hard to tell because there's like people right now. You know what? Do you know anything about the what's happening with the mortgages and the banks? Because we had just talked about how in California they're postponing the mortgages for 3 months, and that seems like eventually it'll happen around the country, maybe.
Yes, that is going to be a coming wave that we're going to see. Both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which are government-backed mortgage agencies, then they own the majority of the mortgages in this country. So basically, they own, I believe, about half of the mortgages that are in this country. So when you get a mortgage from your local bank, they're going to go ahead and then take that mortgage and then sell it to one of these government-owned mortgages. And what they also announced is that because of the coronavirus pandemic, they're going to offer what's known as forbearance, possibly for up to 1 full year, where you can defer your payments due to economic hardship. And then California did partner with a number of the big banks, from Wells Fargo to Citigroup to Bank of America to U.S. Bank, and they also offered anywhere between a 30 to a 90-day forbearance, where if you have economic hardship because of this coronavirus, you can go ahead and be eligible for mortgage forbearance. So this is something that likely we're going to see. This is an unprecedented situation. To put it into perspective, just last Thursday, unemployment numbers came out for the week prior, and 3.3 million Americans filed for unemployment in the last week.
Wow!
And that, and to give you an idea, the worst period of filings we have ever seen in this country prior to last week was in the worst of 2008, when we saw 670,000 filings. So from 670,000 filings in the worst of 2008 in any given week, we're up to 3.3 million this last week.
Yeah, that's insane. I was actually talking to my brother earlier in the week, and he told me that he's in New York. He tried to file for unemployment, and he couldn't because their website had crashed. And there's so many people that are going through the same thing right now. Like the unemployment websites are all crashing because there's so many people filing.
Yeah.
So yes, we're seeing that the unemployment websites are crashing. The Small Business Administration loan is crashing. Their website, Small Business Administration, they're also providing assistance to small business owners, restaurant owners, store owners who have had to potentially lay off employees, are looking at not being able to pay their bills in the coming months. They're also going to be getting assistance from the Small Business Administration, and that website has also crashed. So we're seeing that a lot. These systems aren't designed to handle this type of flow.
So, Sue Paul, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, if they want to talk to you about their personal finances and maybe some steps that they can take to kind of try and protect themselves or to try and take advantage of, the opportunity that we have, because I saw somebody on Facebook that had posted this thing from Warren Buffett, and I don't know if it applies right now. You could probably tell us better. But it said that when it rains gold, you grab a bucket, not a thimble. And I don't know if
absolutely
if it's raining gold right now. It sure doesn't seem like it everywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
But like you were talking about, it may be, as far as investments go.
Yeah, the quote I believe he said was that every decade or so, dark clouds will fill the economic skies, and then they will briefly rain gold. And he also said what you said. Opportunities come infrequently. When it rains gold, put out a bucket, not a thimble.
Yeah.
And Warren Buffett is a great guide for us to see what smart investing is all about. What he looks at when he's purchasing companies is all about purchasing fundamentally strong companies. Companies that have a deep value proposition in the space that they're in. I'll use an example of a company that's one of the largest companies that Berkshire Hathaway owns. It's Apple. And he sees that how Apple has a very unique proposition in the marketplace.
Yeah.
How they're uniquely competitive, have a loyal customer base, and the reason why he stays as an investor for a company like that is that even when they go through big challenging times, like right now, where we have a coronavirus, a large chunk of Apple's manufacturing comes out of China. It's dependent upon a strong consumer to be able to buy all their goods. So if there's going to be a company that's going to be negatively impacted by the coronavirus, it's going to be a company like Apple. But Warren Buffett didn't sell a single share. He continues to own every share of Apple.
Wow.
And the reason why is that he also knows that if there's a company that is well managed enough that could go through a storm like this,
it's Apple,
and come out even better, it's also Apple.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So interestingly enough, last year when the stock market went up 30+%, Warren Buffett underperformed the stock market significantly because he was hoarding up cash. They have about $125 billion in cash hoarded up right now.
Yeah.
And he underperformed when everything else was going up last year. And now he hasn't sold anything and is going to begin a buying spree.
Wow.
So when it's really important for us to remember that we shouldn't be running for shelter when it's raining gold. And usually during periods of when we have dark clouds that are filling the economic skies like they are right now, there will be a period in time where they will briefly rain gold. And more often than not, we are not there to buy it because we're too nervous to purchase. So we have to set up systems in place because we have to realize that we are hardwired to think emotionally and for the short term.
Yeah.
We have to set up systems in place like systemized purchases, working with an advisor that is experienced that can guide us through this type of volatility. And I have found that when you're working with a financial advisor that has the experience and has gone through situations like this in the past and come out of it and can put in a systemized process to help you to achieve your goals, the probability of you achieving them in a more efficient manner is much higher. And the probability of you achieving them with greater peace of mind is also much higher. So I would, of course, be happy to help anybody or any of your listeners that have any questions. You're more than welcome to call me on my, and I'll give you my office number. It is area code 619-358-9893. And please feel free to call and let us know that you were a listener of the podcast, and I'll be sure to reach out to you right away.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate, the tips and the advice. And yeah, definitely if you guys have any questions, if you're worried about what's happening with your investments, with your finances, or if you have been stashing away cash and you see the opportunity that's coming amidst all the horrible things that are happening in the world and you want to take advantage of that, yeah, definitely give Sue Paul a call.
And Sue Paul, how long have you been a financial advisor?
I'm in my 17th year now as a financial advisor.
Very cool.
I started right after the dot-com bubble burst in the tech after 9/11, and been doing this ever since then with Ameriprise Financial.
Very good.
Awesome.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yep, we
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
and I thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
All
You
right.
have a great day.
Take care.
Bye. Well, there you go. I mean, there was some rough news and then some happy news at the end.
So
somewhat.
if you have money to take it, it's so hard to
It
tell.
is.
You know,
It is. But that's why we have,
disconnect.
individuals that are experts at this, because we are not.
No,
You know?
and like you said, when it comes to money, man, we're so emotional. Like
We're emotionally attached.
It's crazy when he said it, because it like a light bulb went off when he was like, when you see things go on sale for 20 to 30% on Black Friday, people are like pushing each other to get them out of the way so that they can go grab it.
Right.
But when it happens in the stock market or in on Wall Street or in stocks and investments in general, people are just like, this thing's taking a tank. It's taking a shit and I'm getting out.
Yep. Yeah.
And people are buying when it's at its most expensive,
Yeah.
which is the complete opposite. You know what I mean?
Because we were just talking about this like yesterday, and we're like, what should we do?
You can unplug.
What should we do? And so hearing from him, I think he, answered.
Yeah, I think
our
that was good. So yeah, give him a call. Man, it is it's just weird. It's weird times. One thing that I wanted to mention, if so like people right now are trying to figure out how they can help, what they can do. And it's just so weird. Like when 9/11 happened, people were trying to donate blood. People were joining the military. People were like cleaning up rubble in New York, cleaning up stuff. And, and right now with everything that's going on, like people have a feeling or a sense of like, I want to try to do something.
I want to do something.
I want to do something. I want to help. And the thing is that everybody's just saying, if you want to help, stay inside. Don't go outside. And I texted you a picture. Can you pull it up? Because I have a friend of mine.
It's not going to make me cry, right?
Maybe.
Oh, gosh.
It might make you cry. But
This one?
yeah, you can read that.
You want me to read it?
Or I'll read it. Give me.
I'm like, wait a minute.
This is the most difficult podcast we've ever had.
I know. I need some happiness in my
shit.
life. I just
So-
feel like...
It says, Karen got infected yesterday, but she won't know until 14 days later. Karen thinks she's healthy, but is infecting 10 people a day. These people think they are okay. They're infecting 100 people. These people think they're healthy. They're infecting 1,000 people. No one knows who is okay or who can infect you. Do you understand why it's important to stay home? Be responsible. Stay home.
Ugh.
And it's so nuts because especially here in Arizona and like different parts, like this is the most beautiful time of the year for a lot of people.
Yeah.
For us that live here in Arizona, it is the time of the year that we all look forward to
Right.
because it's not super hot.
It's beautiful
it's not cold.
outside.
Like this is the time when people are out hiking,
Yeah.
riding bikes, going to the park, barbecuing. And you look out your window and it looks like that. It doesn't look like what's happening in the world is happening.
Mm-hmm.
At least not here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's freaking crazy, but you know what's happening.
And it's so hard with the kids.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard with the kids.
You know what's jacked up is that we moved to this side of town because they have better schools. There was a lot of kids around. That was a big reason for why we moved over here. And the kids went from going to one of the best schools to
no
they're
school.
in the worst school now.
What?
They're in the worst school. They're in our school. I'm not a freaking teacher.
Oh, man. I'm like, oh, man.
I busted out the old military
Shoot.
knife hand days. I'm like, hey, Get to work. I don't want to hear any excuse, you know?
I know. Well, they're starting their online on the 30th. So
I start, the kids sit down and I bust out the knife hand. And I was like, I am not your old teacher. You're not going to get away with any of this shit with me. You got it? You know? And they're like, oh, shit. Oh. No, they're doing
mommy.
good.
Mommy.
They're doing good, but we are definitely not teachers.
No.
That is for damn sure.
It's difficult because you're working from home. Like, you know, I'm working. It's just, it's chaotic. And you would think that we would have more time with everybody staying home. But that's definitely
that is crazy.
Not the case, because my industry right now is booming, like booming, you know, because a lot of title companies they're closed. They're not allowing clients to come in. They're sending us out to go close these loans. And it's been non-stop for me. Like the other day, I didn't go to bed till 3 o'clock in the morning to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning to get going again.
Yeah.
You know,
it's crazy because you would have thought with everybody trying to stay inside, working from home, that we would have more time. We have less time.
It seems
we have less time because
like
in between everything else, we got to try and get the kids to do their math sheets, try to read a book, but they got to kind of do it on their own because we're still working.
Right. And then
when they don't
8
do it
and 10. So
oh yeah. You turn your back on them and they're not doing it.
No. Yeah.
And then when we're done working, we realize that they didn't do what they were supposed to do. And then we got to try and get them to do it and then all the other stuff. But you know what? I'm sure it's like that for a lot of people out there that have kids that are out of school and they're doing the homeschool thing now.
Yeah. So let's talk about something that makes me happy.
Okay.
Why are you rolling your eyes? Do you have anything else?
I'm not gonna take my pants off on the podcast. All right. If that's where you're going, I'm not doing it.
Okay. So are you done? Because I don't want to interrupt you, because earlier you were giving me that. Now I know where your son gets his looks from. Earlier when you asked me to call Sue Paul, you were giving me like a look.
Did you hear the silence?
Yeah, but I was.
If you would have called when I said.
First of all, we had him scheduled at 10:30. Did you know that?
They were expecting a call. It's fine.
Okay. Anyways, are you done? So we were talking about having a live Zoom call.
Yeah.
For Opposites Attract. And you know, back in the day when we used to call 1-800 numbers?
It is. It's kind of like that,
a party, party line.
We've talked about it on here.
Yeah. So we decided.
Actually, I'm going to talk to Stevens when we call him later.
You?
Yeah.
Okay.
We used to do that.
Yeah. So I decided, me being the extrovert and getting all sad and lonely because I need some friends in my life, we thought it would be a great idea to have a live Zoom party. Opposites Attract coming to you. What do you think?
Yeah.
You know,
well, like if you have beer and liquor in your house.
What's up?
The only thing that I was thinking about, how's the music going to work?
Well, we could turn it down some. It doesn't have to be like super loud. We can
but if everybody's got their own music.
No, you guys have to listen to our music.
Oh, what the hell?
And we can take requests via text. No.
That might be a good idea. People send requests and everybody picks a song.
Well, we listen to everything.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
So I think that would be fun to lift everyone's spirits, to come together and kumbaya. No.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what a Zoom call is, it's pretty cool because you can see each other. Like we're all live. Yeah. It's an app that you download. So go to your app store, whatever you have, whether it's Android or you have an iPhone, and download Zoom.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of like a live conferencing app where everybody gets on their phone or on their computer and it shows just like a grid of all the different people that are online.
Right. So we would be on our laptop. We wouldn't be doing this.
Well, we could set it up like right here and we could see.
Okay. Well, that's your deal. So
yeah, no, I know. Trust me.
I know you're not.
No, I know. I know
come,
you're not
I bring the love and the happiness, you just do the technology. Okay.
Yeah. But
we have to get your guys' email. So we got to figure all that out.
We'll figure it out. We'll put up a post. Just look out for it.
Yes.
We might be doing a few of those if we're all locked down for a while. But
it'll be fun.
Man, you know what's tough is it's figuring out as parents, are we doing the right thing?
Yeah.
especially right now, because we had like a few days where we told the kids, like, you're not going outside. And this is something that we're struggling with. I'm sure a lot of people out there are struggling with it. And like I said, it's freaking beautiful out here. It's freaking beautiful. The weather is incredible. You want to be outside, and it's fucked up because the kids, their friends come to the door, and it's like, you guys got to go. Like, the kids aren't going to play today. And then it's messed up because you cave. I cave.
Well, yeah,
I cave because I feel bad and I hear all the kids playing, but I know it's hard. Like, you don't want to think about that.
But there's not like too many kids. Like, there's not a lot of kids out playing. But our kids will ask, can we go ride our bikes? And we're like, yeah. And then we look out the window, and then there's other kids out there. So it's like we have to educate the kids on how, social distancing works. But for a kid, that has to be
tough.
Way more difficult.
Well, so we've told them that, like, you can go ride bikes, you can go out and see your friends. There is no touching. There is like no hugging. Not that they hug all the time or whatever, but like they'll be playing or with their kids. So
we told them
like,
to stay 10 feet.
No touching. Yeah, you guys are 10 feet apart. And I busted out the tape measure and I'm like, look, this is 10 feet. You can still talk to your friends. You can talk to your friends normally. Like, you don't have to yell. This is 10 feet. Stay 10 feet away from your friends.
And I still don't know if that's okay.
And that may not be right. We might, like, the right thing to do might be to keep them inside.
And this is the thing. Knows, like, our neighbor, she's older. She's older. She understands what's going on.
The daughter,
Audrey's really close
not the neighbor,
to
the daughter.
The daughter. And they are practicing, they are practicing. What the hell is that called?
I'm going to let you figure it out.
Oh, you suck ass. So they're staying inside.
Jiu-jitsu, they're practicing law.
And we know
medicine?
What they're doing. Like, they're not going out and socializing.
Like, social distancing?
Yeah, but more so. They're quarantining themselves. So we know the parents. So I don't feel as bad with Audrey, like, talking to Summer, because I know what their parents are doing.
Yes. Read that picture that I sent you. Again.
See,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where the whole doubt comes in of, like, am I doing the right thing?
I just thought I saw someone passing by. Let's see if our doorbell rings because you forgot to put the recording.
Quiet.
Ding dong.
Nothing? No. Anyway, we should get a doorbell sound effect. But like, who knows, man? It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is. And then we talked to my mom in Florida and just our friends in other, states to hear what they're going through. And like, it's real. It's hard sometimes it's hard when we're here, like you said, to realize that this is going down.
Yeah. And for us, it feels like it's easier to stay in the house.
Yeah.
And to go out and see because inside our house, we know things aren't normal, but they seem more normal in the house, because inside the house we're just doing what we normally do.
And I'm so glad that I like you. I can't imagine if I didn't having to be stuck with you all the time. Oh my God. That'd be like torture. No,
it would be. It'd be bad.
I'm very grateful.
So
my kids, I like them sometimes. No, and they're so sweet.
They're good.
We have some awesome
sweethearts.
kids. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyways, it is what it is. You guys have to find your happy place. Like, you do. You have to just find your happy place and start working on yourself. Like, if you're like trying to figure out what to do these days,
you can eat more.
Oh, it's been happening.
You can eat everything that's in your house.
Talking about that now, I'm like checking.
Dude, at first when those memes came out, like 3 months from now, when I come out of I'm gonna be, dude, those are gonna be like the real deal, because we've been eating nonstop.
Like, we went for a run one day.
Yes, we went for one run to try and work off.
It was so awesome.
We went for one run to try and work off the 6 boxes of cereal that we ate.
Well, oh my God. So isn't it fun? We have a lot of faves together.
Well, yeah.
We
need to stop though.
Okay. So as I mentioned, I went to the grocery store and Captain Crunch, it's peanut butter.
Yeah, the peanut butter crunch.
The peanut butter crunch. Oh my God. Like that's both of our faves.
We're going to start a cereal review
And we have not, I know that'd be funny. And we don't buy that kind of cereal. Like
No.
we just don't. Like
We usually eat lettuce.
yes. Like people that know us be like, yeah, that you go to their house and you're going to have broccoli. My cousin once told me when we were out here, she's like, this would be the worst house to get high at.
Yeah.
To get the munchies at. Because
Would you like some olives?
would you like some
this is
broccoli
fucking
with your
horrible.
olives?
Like, get me out of here.
I'm just like, listen, if we're going to die, I want to die fat with you. No.
Yeah,
And
we've been
so,
going hard.
You know, it was 5 boxes for like $10 or something like that. I don't know. It was something crazy.
Whatever.
And so I bought them and I'm like, look what I found. Gold. No. Because last
I know.
time.
I open the door and you walk in and all I
all
see
smiley.
is bags full of cereal. I'm like, what are you doing?
They're small boxes.
Yeah.
Anyways, but we should put it in our schedule because I know we're redoing everything to just go running, or I love to jump rope. So just work out an hour a day so that we don't feel that bad when we're eating a box of Captain Crunch.
No. Dude, we used to work out all the time just to maintain.
I know, right? Now we're working out.
So
So we
it's
can
not
eat?
working. It's not working. It's not working.
It's because we haven't been consistent.
This is a bad plan.
We have to be consistent. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot of shit on this podcast about losing weight. You got to do this.
I know.
Look
now we're
look at us now. Yeah.
Now we're like.
You should look in our pantry. It's a freaking disaster.
It's not that bad. The cereal.
Look at the top shelf.
The cereal.
Cereal, chips, all kinds of shit.
Oh, hey, you weren't complaining before.
No, I wasn't. Not when I was tearing it up.
Yeah. It's funny
Yeah.
how we have certain art things that we have in common.
Yeah.
A lot of,
So we had a talk with the kids earlier in the week, and like on the last podcast we talked about how to talk to kids and remaining calm, which we did. Mm-hmm. We've been doing pretty good at remaining calm and not giving the kids information that's going to freak them out. But we were having dinner one night. That's one thing that you guys, I mean, if you're home in the house, this is a great time to start that routine. Sit down and eat as a family. Yeah. That is, I think that's incredible. Like we've always done it, but for people that haven't done it, that you're stuck in your house with your family and you're always going, start that routine. Yeah. I mean, because that will help your family when this thing is over. I
found out that Joey likes to cook.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, like he's been helping me cook instead of my daughter. My daughter's like, nope, she's like, a lot like me. I was like that.
Yeah,
I told my mom.
She's dancing in the background. You guys are cooking.
No, I'm like, where's my daughter?
But we sat down and we had a talk with them, and we explained to the kids that, like, look, we're trying to do the best we can as parents. Our number one priority is to keep them safe. And we've never lived through something like this. Like we told them straight up, like we've never lived through anything like this. This is something that's new to everybody. Like, and we explained to them, like, look, we've been to the grocery stores. You guys have seen the grocery stores before we kept them locked in the house, but they've seen the grocery stores with the shelves empty, with people not talking, with people with masks on and gloves. I'm like, have you ever in your 10 years or 8 years, have you ever seen anything like this? Mm-hmm. No. It's like, we're 30, 40 something. We've never seen anything like this. So you guys got to understand.
Something.
Well, I'm just saying, like, we've never in our life seen anything like this.
Yeah.
So we are trying to do the best we can. We're going to be okay. But just understand that when we make decisions, when we tell you that you can't go out and play with your friends, there's nothing that we would like more than for them to go out and play with their friends.
And I told them I'd rather have you upset with us and safe.
Exactly.
Versus happy and sick.
But we did that while we were sitting at the dinner table and not like pulling, but in a way, like I almost want to pull up the news.
Right.
Like I want them
because
to
it
see
seems like they're not taking it
what a hospital looks like. Yeah, and that is one thing that we told them was like, and I read an article somewhere like in Spain, they don't have beds for people. There's people that are laid out in hospital hallways because there's not enough beds for everybody to get a bed.
Right.
And here in Arizona, when the sun is bright and the birds are freaking early in the morning, it sounds like a fucking Cinderella movie.
I love our backyard.
The birds are chirping, and you're just
beautiful.
like, oh man, it's so nice out.
Yeah.
And the
doesn't
kids
seem like the world's ending over here.
They
not
can't
in our
see
house.
It, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody posted something about that, like in London. It's or in the UK, like it's always rainy and gloomy, kind of like Seattle here.
That'd be so
it's
bad.
Rainy and gloomy, and now you have the coronavirus, and it's bright and sunny, and everybody's got to be inside.
Right.
Oh,
that's so sad.
But yeah. So let's all just cry for the next week. Holy shit!
I know.
You look like you've been wanting to cry the whole podcast.
You know, sad.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so
I'm very emotionally caught up in this.
There's a lot of with people staying inside, there's a lot more to watch on YouTube, or not more to watch, but people are watching a lot more stuff on YouTube. Kids are reading more in the house. Like that's one thing. We bought the kids some more books so that they could read while they're here.
Yeah.
Things that they want to read. So we one thing that we've done is the kids get to pick a book, and we bought them a book. And then after that, because they pick like some weird, whatever, as long as they like to read it.
What was Audrey's diary?
Dork Diaries.
She loves that. She finished that book like in one day, but it wasn't easy.
But it's an easy read. Yeah. It's a kid's book. But as long as she's reading, that's all I care about. Joey, he wanted, and I found it, and it said that it was a good series. But it's kind of like the next level of reading for him. Mm-hmm. So it's like chapter books as opposed to like pictures.
Good.
And it's called My Big Fat Zombie Goldfish.
I saw that.
And that's what he wanted.
He's
but
so excited about it.
But I made the kids a deal that, okay, Audrey finished that one book in like a day.
Yeah.
And Joey's got 3 books, and I'm thinking he's going to like reading it because it's a silly book and it'll help him learn. And but afterwards, they got to pick something that's nonfiction. So something that they can learn from. So Audrey wants something that has to do with like space and the earth. I was like, all right, that's cool.
She likes natural disasters.
She's loves
so cute.
Natural disasters. Yeah. So I told them that we can get them a book about that, or like a biography about a singer, or something real. Yeah. And then after that, they can go back to getting a book that they like, that they want. But that's just something that you guys can do. Now's a good time to learn some stuff.
I think that's where we went wrong with Joey. Because that's funny. Hold on. So Joey is not very excited about reading at all. And we've been making him read books that we want him to read. And I think that's where we've gone wrong, And so I think that this is good. I think this is, great. Having him choose his books versus us choosing his books, So
and then
got to get him to love to read.
Pick something nonfiction that he's interested in.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
I'm very nervous about this whole online schooling that's supposed to start on the 30th. I got to look into it because I'm working Monday. You're working Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the heck? What are we gonna do? Audrey can. I
have no clue.
I guess I could show him. Anyways, I got to look into that. I'm nervous about that. I'm just like, here, Joey, I don't know what to do.
I'm like, look, you guys used to do that. What was that jacked up math that they did in class?
Ooh.
I'd be like, hey, forget all that shit because Dad never did it that way. All right? Take off your shoes. Get your fingers out.
Get your toes. And let's count.
Get your pants out. We're going to need to count to 21.
Get your pants
off. We're going to need, this one goes up to 21. No, I would be like, you know what? Forget all that shit. All right. This is the way we did it when I was a kid. So we're going back to old school math ways. All right. If they're going to have us teaching, that's how we're doing it.
Oh,
hey, we
Lord.
learn math. We're fine. We're not going to do it on this podcast, but
holy crap.
I could do it on a piece of paper. So anyway, yeah. It's a mess, man.
This is our reality right now.
It is.
I'm in the Twilight Zone. Have you ever watched the Twilight Zone?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. This is like the Twilight Zone, except in color.
Yeah.
Because the Twilight Zone was in black and white.
In HD.
Oh my goodness. We had the kids watching, was it Dennis the Menace in black and white? They're like,
yeah, it was.
Where's the color? what is wrong with this show? There is no color. Audrey was out.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not watching this. Joey was laughing his butt off because Joey is Dennis the Menace. Like, this little boy is so curious. He loves to touch everything. And he's so cute because he'll get into his little mood where he's like non-stop asking questions.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah. Oh,
like
yeah.
a chatterbox. Like,
it's just one after another, one after another, and why is this? And why does it do that?
He's like, why is this button red? Push. He's
my God.
And so I'm like, Joey, you are such Dennis the Menace. He's like, who's that? I'm like, my poor child.
Yeah.
You don't know who Dennis the Menace is? So we ended up putting on the movie
and he loved
with
it.
color, and he was it was so cute.
Yeah, it was.
You know, hearing him laugh. Like, that's what makes me laugh. I got to go make my kids laugh so I can just
So we get to go enjoy the kids this weekend and just spend time with the family, stay cooped up in the house. For those of you that are home all the time, which is most of us now, and you want a new podcast to listen to, you can give him a call.
Yeah.
I have my best friend from high school. I mean, how long have we been? 30?
A long time.
15, like 20 years? We've been friends for 20 years. My best friend Stevens, and I don't think so. We'll give it a shot.
Okay.
And he's got a new podcast with his daughter, and it's called Like Father, Like Daughter Podcast with Stevens and Javerlin, and it's really cool. Like, they talk about just their relationship.
How old is his daughter?
She's 12.
Aww,
so they just kind of
awesome.
And she is super smart for her age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you listen to her, you're like, I can't believe she's 12 years old.
Really?
But yeah, they've had a couple podcasts, and we want to welcome Stevens onto the show.
Exciting.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hi.
What's up, guys?
It's your boy Stevens.
Yeah, so we've actually heard Stevens one other time on the podcast. You guys probably wouldn't tell by his voice. But if you go back a few podcasts and you listen to when we were doing the Indian accent.
Yes.
Yeah, he was the caller, Ahmed.
Oh, that is me for sure.
What's up, Carson? What are you doing?
It's been so long. Many times ago.
Cousin, do you hear that they locked down India?
Oh my God.
No.
I don't know how we will keep a billion of our brothers and sisters.
Cousin, this is one thing I tell you. This is news. I know we didn't say we were talking about news, but India, they have locked down now, and the police are going outside and they are beating people that are leaving the house.
Oh, wait a second. I see this somewhere.
Yeah, they beat them with sticks.
You guys
anyway,
are hilarious.
We could do this all day. We're not here for this. But anyway, so yeah, Like Father, Like Daughter podcast with Stevens and Javerlin. So yeah, how many episodes you guys have now?
We have
2 episodes out right now.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys have I've listened to both of them, and man, it's really cool. And you guys take questions on the show?
Yeah, we take questions. We don't have a phone number yet, but I know that on the Anchor.fm app, you can send us a voice message.
Cool. So how could people find you? Like, if they want to listen, if they want to send you a message, if they want to get more information about the podcast, where can they get it?
So they have 2 options. They can go to likefatherlikedaughterpodcast.com or anchor.fm/LFLD.
Like Father, Like Daughter. Yep.
Right. And then they can use whatever platform suits them to listen to us.
So very briefly, how did this podcast come up?
It's something that we had talked about before. She's been bugging me since she was like 7, that she wanted a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
She's been doing reviews on stuff that nobody knows about forever.
That's what I was gonna say, Javerlin. You wanted to do a toy review channel?
Yeah.
That's cool. That is so popular. It's insane.
You know what? I wonder if we can get her and Audrey to do one together.
I don't know. Maybe.
Like, because that's something Audrey is into as well.
Yeah.
I mean, she has a few of them out there on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but we finally decided to pull the trigger on the podcast. It just happened like randomly.
Yeah.
She went to work with me, and I had discovered this Anchor app, and I was like, I hadn't even like played with it yet, but I told her, I was like, hey, I found this app. Seems like it might be easy to use. If it is, do you want to just do like a practice episode, and then, you know, if it sounds good, then we'll do a real one. And so the pilot actually was our rough draft, but you know, we decided to just keep it.
Nice. Yeah, and it turned out really good. I mean, the conversation that you guys have between the two of you is great. I mean, it's so natural. Obviously, you guys talk to each other all the time, but it's so natural just the way you go back and forth. And then on the last episode, you had your sister on, who was a counselor, Angie, and you know, you guys were talking about the coronavirus, and I think everybody's talking about that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
You know what? You know what's actually kind of refreshing? Unlike our podcast, we've been talking about the coronavirus nonstop. You guys were talking about the Marvel movies and, you know, all the different movies that you guys are into, the TV shows. So it was really cool.
Yeah, we were talking because we'll probably record our third episode that'll come out Tuesday or Wednesday. We're probably recording that today. And we were like, all right, what are we going to talk about next? And we were just sitting here watching TV the other day, and I was like, I think our next episode, we should just talk about the different streaming services and how we're using them. Because you're right, everybody's talking about the coronavirus, and I'm just tired of it.
Right? No, for real.
Yeah, we're getting tired of it too.
I'm so sad.
I'm tired of telling everybody to stop being nasty. Like, why is this a novelty?
Why are you just now washing your hands?
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're just going to talk about the different streaming services just to give people an idea of what's out there, and because I think we have just about most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have Podcast Addict, and it's come up on Podcast Addict. You can find it on iTunes and Spotify and a lot of the other podcast apps. Can you give us that website one more time?
Yeah, it's anchor.fm/LFLD.
Like father, like daughter.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
So I want to hear from his daughter. She's
Yeah. So, Javerlyn, what do you like best about starting this podcast?
With your daddy.
I liked it because I feel like me and him get to talk a lot more, and we get to go in depth on a whole bunch of different topics. And it's not just serious conversations. Like, we have fun all the time.
Yeah.
And I just like it a lot.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Yeah, and that's something that you can genuinely hear when you're listening to their podcast.
You know, Audrey's probably going to be looking at you like, Daddy.
Oh, yeah. No, I told her maybe next week we can get the kids on the podcast because we're all locked up in here together. So,
yeah.
Oh,
it's a good opportunity because there's a lot of there's a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
And this is helping us. This is like therapy for us because it's kind of forcing us to have a conversation. Not that we didn't regularly have one, but probably not in so much depth and for such a long time. Usually, she's into her stuff and I'm into mine, and we'll talk briefly for a few minutes and then that'll be it. But this gives us an opportunity to go into depth, like she said, and it's fun. It's just like she was telling me that she didn't know that it was so easy because we're just talking and just recording it. That's all we're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, and I was telling you earlier in the week that I'm sure you already have a great relationship with your daughter, but for anybody out there, like even if nobody was to listen to the podcast itself is, like you said, a great form of therapy. Like you get there's benefits from just sitting down and talking for an hour, whether not one person out there listens to it, just for us.
Right.
Exactly.
So, and just the fact that other people are listening and maybe they get something from it is a plus, is a bonus.
Yeah.
I agree.
So yeah, we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the next episode. I love the first two. They were great. So yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
You guys go out there and check out Like Father, Like Daughter podcast with Stevens and Jaberlin. And yeah, we'll definitely have you guys back on the podcast at some point.
Awesome.
So
thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
You're
guys.
welcome. Cute. You guys be safe out there.
All right, you too.
Bye.
All right, bye.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
So there we go. Yeah, Stevens and Jaberlin. He's been, and I'll get him back on the podcast because me and him, I would like to do a live podcast with him eventually, so that we can kind of talk about the old days. I mean, I went to high school with him, and some of the stuff is so unbelievable that you could never imagine the stuff that we've done together.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't even sound real, but it would be cool, like high school and the way we used to kidnap people from classrooms.
You guys used to have
we used to do
whole
some
lot
crazy
of
shit.
fun.
We both worked at a nightclub when we were 15, like at a legit New York City nightclub when we were 15. So that was a lot of fun too. But we'll get into all that. Yeah,
That's it.
that's pretty much
cutting
it.
you off
You're cutting me
again.
off. What the hell? Well, thank you guys for being with us. We have not done one plug, and everybody's turning this off now. Make sure you go to oppositesattractpod.com. You can watch the podcast. You know what? We are very close to, I think it's like 100 subscribers on YouTube. We're still growing.
Yes.
But help us out. If you guys haven't subscribed to the
Yes.
YouTube channel, do it just search Opposites Attract Podcast on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. We're at Opposite Pod, or if you just search Opposites Attract Podcast, you'll see the logo and it'll pop up. But yeah, follow, share it, please, because obviously you guys are already listening to the podcast, and sharing it will help the podcast grow. If you go to the website, oppositesattractpod.com, and you click on the Support the Show tab at the top, it'll take you to our Amazon link. Anything that you purchase through that link will help out the show, and it doesn't cost you anything more. There's also a tab to Trust Inc. I don't know how much of that we're going to be doing in the future, but if you need any notary services, legal services, maybe the legal services you might need, depending on what's happening, you can go to trustincUSA.com.
Yes.
So oppositesattractpod.com, trustincUSA.com. For everybody that's out there that has to continue working, thank you for everything that you're doing. You know, a month and a half ago, when our life was normal, when we had no clue of any of this happening, we've never really been that way, but there's so many people that are wrapped up in celebrities, in rappers and athletes and models and all this other stuff. And it's like, oh, wow, look at what they're doing. Look at what this person's doing. And it's like the world revolves around all these people. Right. Well, guess what? Right now, this is a wake-up call. There are people out there, and not to say that those celebrities aren't important. They're people but that's the thing, is that they're people just like everybody else. But right now, there's police that are still out there working. There's military that are still training, still deploying. There's nurses, there's doctors that are working in hospitals, and they're getting sick. You know,
there's mobile notaries that are helping individuals close on loans.
You know what? And there's people that are put in a position right now that didn't ask to be put in the positions that they're in. Right. Like we just heard about a case of the first case of a grocery store, like the biggest grocery store in Arizona, that got a case of the coronavirus, the first confirmed case. Now think about like all these places that are keeping the country going. Grocery stores. We were talking about if a grocery store shut down, what that would do to a community. Like people would actually start freaking out. Like people are freaking out now. Right. People right now are actually freaking out. So like think about the person that a month and a half ago was bagging groceries, and they were just a freaking kid bagging groceries, living in their parents' house.
Yeah.
Those people are still there now, a lot of them. And they didn't ask for this duty, pretty much. Like this is now their duty to stock the shelves so that we can go in and shop.
Right.
So think about those people that are put in a position now to sacrifice and to make things happen. And that is one thing. I didn't think we were going to get into this, but that is one thing that people as humans, we're good at. like when shit happens, we act. And it may not be the people that you expect to act, like we said at the grocery store, but we make it happen one way or another.
Right.
You know, we're going to come through this one way or another. Some of us, you know, we're going to lose people on the way, but I think we have an opportunity to reset and to remember what's actually important. Because times have changed fast. And you got to appreciate what you got. Appreciate those people that are out there doing their thing. We hope you guys stay safe, stay inside, and just keep following what's happening. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Yes. And with that, we are out.
We're out. Talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.